I know everyone's so busy with 360 and everything else that's going on right now, so I really appreciate it. This morning we're covering Unity Client. That's what most of you will be using. We also have Web Client that will be this afternoon at 2 p.m. and then batch scanning at 11. So batch scanning will probably only apply to those of you that are familiar with scanning in documents in Sire today. So come and go as you need to, but we really appreciate your time. And I'm going to turn it over to Jeremiah and Jeremy from OnBase.
Oh, thank you. So I'm Jeremy. Jeremiah has just introduced. We're part of the OnBase crew team here. We were specifically brought into Hyland over a year ago, specifically for the purpose of moving Sire customers over to OnBase, so we're the conversion specialists. We also deal with some other OnBase modules as well and help with that, so I'm sure you'll be hearing from us quite a bit more again. As far as this training goes today, please feel free to ask questions anytime along the route. If it's a little too far off from kind of where we're at the moment, we'll go ahead and let you know, but please do feel free to stop us, let us know any questions that you have. We're going to run you through the Unity client training for this next hour and a half. And that I imagine will be the application that most of you are probably going to be using when you're interacting with OnBase. We obviously do have the web client that Jeremiah will go over later. That'll be for those of you who are just doing a few one-off tasks within the system here and there, and aren't necessarily power users that need the customization and the full options and all the power that the Unity client offers. Okay. So just to kind of start us off a little bit, I know we've had this training once before and we've run through this. I imagine some of you were probably in that. This is going to be a big review of that. So a lot of this should be fairly familiar. OnBase has 3 different ways to interact with the database and to retrieve documents. There is what we call the thick client or the OnBase client, which your administrators will be using. We're not going to worry about that one. There's the Unity client, which is what I have on the screen here. That is what most of you power users will be using to interact with documents, to do forms, workflow, and different things like that. And then again, the web client that we'll cover later. Again, it's a web-based application that you'll interact with and launch through a web browser, and that'll give you most of the functions that we'll see here. Not quite everything, but most of it. It is limited to browser support capabilities, but it does still offer a lot of options there. So something else we also like to cover, looks like we've got a little network error there. Something else that we do like to cover very frequently is why are we doing this, right? You guys have been on Sire for years. Why are we making this transition? In the software business, change comes very fast, it comes rapidly, and it's a big adjustment when it happens, right? You guys, again, being on Sire for years, are probably very used to it, very comfortable with it. It's a very good platform. But all development stopped in 2012 when Sire was acquired by Hyland. So Hyland's taken on the task of offering full support for the product, but all development did completely stop. So eventually, as technology continues to change in the hardware and software game, we do expect it to eventually have issues and errors with new environments and not be able to keep up. So here, you guys are making the transition this year to OnBase. It is a more robust product. It does offer a lot more capabilities and features and options as far as the interface. Some things are different, you will find. Most of them are good. Honestly, there are some that people hate. That's okay, we get it, it's not perfect. Every piece of software is different. But we do invite you to have an open mind and get comfortable with it as again, this is going to be the transition that you guys are making this year. So you should find a lot of the functionality pretty straightforward that we go over today. I don't expect this to be a really exciting presentation, right? It's electronic content management, woo! Yeah, we'll deal with that, right? But this will be hopefully home to a lot of the functions and processes that you guys have. So the Unity, again, we'll talk about this for an hour and a half. The batch scanning and indexing, for those of you going, that'll run an hour and a half. And then the web client later this afternoon will probably actually run that about 45 minutes. So we can take a lot of different questions after that and hit on some other items that you guys might want to see. Okay. So that all said, I'm going to go ahead and kick off here. So Unity just launches with an icon on your desktop. This is an application that has to be installed on your local machine to use. And your IT people will take care of that for you if you don't already have it. Just talk to Amanda and Renee and your IT people. Let them know that you want that there. This is the home page here. So when I launch it, I'll go ahead and see a very familiar ribbon here that we've kind of got accustomed to thanks to Microsoft Office. We've partnered with them to make this look very similar to that. It helps with user adoption. Also, it helps with making the interface more intuitive. You can just kind of browse the ribbon there and be reminded of what it is you may or may not be looking for. On our home page here, this is just the default layout. I want to let you guys know that most pages on here are fully customizable. You can resize just about anything. Go ahead and adjust it left and right depending on, again, on what screen you're looking at and just kind of how you want to view the content that's being displayed. Here we have what's essentially a HTML display viewer here. You can see I've got a URL right here. I'm tied into unity.hyland.com. I can come up to this gear here and I can go ahead and change that at any time. Additionally, I can continue to add additional sites up here. That'll drive me to other web pages. This isn't a very popular or very big wowing feature, right? I've got a browser, I can do this kind of thing. This can be somewhat beneficial in that you've kind of got one stop for everything, right? If I tied in my, say, Provo City's website in here or an internet page or something like that, I could essentially use OnBase to access everything so that I'm not switching between a browser and OnBase. I'm just in OnBase all the time. So by all means, we invite you to customize that, play with that. The home page here can be changed to something more functional I'll introduce here soon. But just know that you do have an HTML-capable displayer here. Additionally, I also have an RSS ticker up here so I can get news feeds, internal information, whatever the case may be, depending on, again, if you guys have an internal RSS system set up. Okay. The bigger one, and this is something we'll have to come to later, is the personal page. This is unique to Unity. And this is a really nice page. Right now you see nothing on there. As we go through the course of this training, we're going to go ahead and add content to it. And we're going to personalize it to make it more valuable to me, the end user. Additionally, once I do make that more valuable to me and I put shortcuts on and quick links on this page so that I can access areas that I'm constantly in very frequently, I'll have an easy and quick way to access them here on this page. And additionally, I can make this my home page so that I can just jump to exactly whatever I want to do in less than 3 clicks. Okay. And then also I can manage favorite layouts as well too and create additional customizations there. So to really jump into Unity, we're going to talk about retrieval. So here in document retrieval, obviously I want to be able to, this is an ECM system. I want to be able to go retrieve the documents that I'm going to be using. I need to navigate and know how to find them. Terminology-wise, what you guys need to know is that a cabinet in Sire is now a document type in OnBase. Additionally, an index in Sire is now a keyword in OnBase. So when I'm using those words interchangeably, I want to make sure that you guys are still able to follow me. Okay, so now we're talking about documents and keywords. Something new that you'll see in OnBase is also document type groups. Okay, this is kind of a way to organize the document types or cabinets by department so that I can find them easier. If you'll notice here, I have a very, very long list of document types, right? I don't necessarily want to scroll through those to find a document every time I come in here. So a quick way to narrow that down is to come up to this drop-down box and select the document type group that I'm specifically interested in. As you can see, we've got pretty much all of your departments and cabinets that you had in Sire. We've done a test conversion into this system here so that you guys can see what that'll look like, test it, make sure that we've brought everything over correctly. For the purposes of this training, just to make sure that we don't access anything sensitive, we're going to go into the recorder documents. Okay. I want you to understand, though, that this process, what we're going to cover in these trainings today, applies to everyone. It doesn't matter the document type or the document that you're looking at or the process that you have. This is going to apply to everyone. So please don't say, oh, he's talking about an accounts payable document. I'm in the recorder office, whatever the case may be. I don't need to pay attention. That's not the case, okay? So just please stay with me here on that.
Can I just add that on the back of your agenda, if you want to make notes, you actually have a screenshot of this panel right here. So feel free to make notes on the back of your agenda.
All right. So here we're going to go into the recorder contracts document type. And upon selecting that, you can see down below here a number of keywords came up. These are the keywords that are associated with that document type by your administrator. So I have contract date, contract title, vendor name, department division, et cetera, et cetera. It looks like you guys have over half a dozen keywords for this document type. So obviously, all those values have hopefully been filled in for each document that has been brought into the system and is being stored here. So something I'm going to do just real quick, I'm going to use this vendor name field. I'm going to look up anything that starts with a T, for example. And I'm going to use an asterisk in there to do a wildcard search. This keyword panel that's right here, you guys need to know that this is text sensitive. And I don't mean case sensitive. You can be uppercase, lowercase, but what I'm trying to get across there is that I do need to know the exact keyword that I'm searching for here. And if I don't, I need to put in a wildcard as appropriate before or after my search criteria or both, okay? So if I know the exact keyword, I can enter that. I'll get back just that result. If I don't, in this case, I'm going to search for anything starting with a T. And I'm just going to come down here below, click Find. Okay. So here you can see I got a hit list back, right? So up top here, it shows me that my search resulted in 20 documents that were found. You can see here I have a very long and very helpful, informative auto name string. This is what we call an auto name string here. And an auto name string is configured of the comprised of the keywords that are affiliated within the document type here. So in this case, RCD recorder contracts is the document type, right? And then I continue to come in here with other information. So I've probably got the vendor name in here, the contract title, the contract date. This is your guys' system, so I'm not familiar with what the keywords are. But just know that this auto name string is completely customizable. Your admin can turn around and say, well, do we need this keyword in there? Is that very helpful or beneficial to me to find that document? Is there another keyword that's beneficial to me that I'd like to have in there to help me find that document? We can change that. So please, if there's any feedback that you guys have on these, let us know, and we can make that better for you, okay? These columns, a popular question we get are these columns customizable, right? In Sire, I had columns where I could see the list of keywords. Here in the document retrieval window, this is pretty set. The only thing I can change here is that auto name string. But we do have custom queries that we'll go into that do allow for that same functionality and view. Here within document retrieval though, I can go ahead and I can click the column header if I want to go ahead and sort my search results, if that helps, right? If I'm searching by dates or PO numbers or order numbers, contract numbers, whatever the case may be, I can go ahead and do that, okay? Additionally, something that's really nice here is I've got 20 results, right? Say I had 100, for example. How can I filter that down without reading 100 different results, right? I mean, I've got a pretty vague search here, anything starting with T. What I can do is there's this row right down here, which is a filter row. So this one acts very much like a search engine does in that I can type in any text I want and it will actively search my results for that text. So here we can see in this auto name string on this document, voice stream for department. For example, I'll go ahead and start typing in voice, and it actively filtered down my results on the fly. Okay. So here I've gone. Okay, I got 20 results. Well, I think I just remembered another another keyword value. I can enter that on the fly and go ahead and do that. No wildcard is required. I just enter in any text. It can start with it, end with it, wherever. As long as it's anywhere in that auto name string, I can search for that. So that's available to me there. Another, just to note on this filter is that's going to remain in place until I remove that filter. So if I go do another document retrieval or another search, I will still find that there. Just know that when you go to find that other one, if I get no results back, the system's not broken, right? The value does exist, most likely. You just need to come to this reset or clear filter button and go ahead and clear that out, and that filter's gone. The system will retain that because it's trying to leave the settings that you leave in place for the layout. So if you remember, I can go ahead and change this layout. I can customize the size. The system will try to remember that so that it's there next time you use it. Okay, and it'll do that for each and every individual user. The only time that gets reset is if your admin's making system changes, which you guys will see a lot at the beginning, right? Where they will basically reset that layout. So if you're like, hey, I just customized that, it's constantly getting reset, what's going on? It's just your admin's making system changes, okay? We'll expect that for the first couple months while we're customizing the system, tweaking it to your guys' liking. Once that settles down, right, then that little problem should go away. Any questions so far? We doing good? All right. So continue to move on. So when we're working with keywords and we're trying to do that search, right, it's very helpful that I can search the keyword. I have this additional search box here I can do on any column to go ahead and continue to narrow down my results. I can go ahead and scroll through them and view them. Additionally, obviously the more criteria I enter in to search for a document, the more likely I am of hitting that really quickly and easily, right? So I can enter in 1 or 2 keywords. I can enter them all, enter one like I did, however you want to go about it. Pick the keyword value that you know. Keywords that have data sets with them, we'll go ahead and have this drop down box so you can go ahead and select that value that you're searching for. Additionally, I can search by a date range. You can see here that we have this date range here, and I also have a contract date that's tied to this particular document type. This date range up above, this is the document date for OnBase. So this is the date that the document was put into the system. With Sire, we're going to bring those dates over, so they're still going to be there. This contract date is something you guys put in place, right? That's applicable to this document type. So maybe I wanted another date that I wanted to track with this, right? A contract effective date or something like that. You guys have gone ahead and put that in there, and you can go ahead and search by that as well. We can do numbers, text, dates, currency, whatever you guys are using. They all work the same in here. Say, for example, I'm looking for a contract. I've got a date, but maybe there's a typo in it, right? Or there's a squiggle. I can't really read it. And I want to search 2 dates. I can do that. So I can simply double click on a keyword and I can create a second instance of it on the fly. So now I can enter in 2 different values for the same keyword and search on those. Additionally, I'll have binary operators and other operators here that you can see that I can use to continue to help with that search function. So in this particular example that I've listed with contract date, it's not going to be 2 dates. I'm looking for 1. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. It's the first date or it's the second date. Additionally, I can go ahead and change the math on that and say it's equal to, it's not equal to, it's less than, greater than, whatever the case may be. All right? I can go ahead and change those on the fly as well. And I can continue to add as many of those as I want. All right? If I want to start that search over, I can come to this green arrow here and clear the keywords and date constraints, and it resets my search. Now notice it's just reset my keyword search, not my document type search. If I want to reset the entire search, I can come up here and clear the entire selection and start over with a new search. Contracts. Okay. So in addition to keyword searches and searching my auto name string, I do have the ability to do a full text search. right? Sometimes I only remember a word that's on the document itself. Not a keyword, but a word that's in it, right? Maybe I want to search for, there was a project on the Provo River, right? Or something like that. So I want to go search Provo River. If that's something that has been configured in the system, I can find that by doing a text search. I'm not going to actually demonstrate this because I don't believe we have that set up for you guys, okay? And even if we did, this isn't something that's going to work until we actually go live with this conversion, okay? But with the full text search, I could essentially do that where I'm, for lack of a better example, Googling a document for anything that's in it. I go search it, and again, assuming that's been configured, I can go in there, I'll do that search, and it'll tell me, okay, I found this many results with that word, and it'll go and tell me what page and paragraph and line I found that word on, and it'll even give me the sentence or line that that word's on, so I can go ahead and see that. Any questions there? Okay. Renee, were we setting that up on anything? I don't think we were we?
I think it would be a good idea to make sure if you have any documents that you want to make sure are OCR so that you can use full text, let us know to make sure that we've got that set up correctly for you.
And it's my understanding that that's a setting by doc type, correct?
Correct, by doc type.
That is by document type. In a lot of examples, we'll just do that for a few document types, usually not all of them. That is a very process-heavy server requirement. OCRing a document line by line by line takes a lot of computer power. So if that is something you guys are interested, that's just something that your IT department will need to keep in mind and be aware of. You guys do have a lot of documents, so they may want to dedicate a lot of system resources to that at the beginning to get that all caught up and processed. Go ahead.
So those documents that have already been scanned into Sire that are OCR, will those convert over?
Those will have to be re-OCR'd in OnBase. Yeah, we can't move that catalog. It's just it's a lot of data, and various systems handle that process and information differently. So yeah, if they were OCR'd in Sire, we'd need to reset that up in OnBase and have that happen. Depending on the number of documents that you're talking about, it could take days, weeks, months. It really depends. I mean, if you, I think in total you guys probably have around 12 million documents that are going to be converted. That's a lot, right? The server's going to be hitting that pretty hard for several months. IT is going to be throwing tons of processor cores at that and a lot of RAM to get that caught up. Once it is caught up, you know, the system resources that they dedicate to that will just vary based on how many documents you're adding per week. Yeah. Anything else?
You show them, you know, with something that threw people the first time was like if you've got a drop down, like department division, and you select one, and then when you come back to retrieve another document, that doesn't clear. If you hit the drop down, it doesn't give you the full list anymore. You have to make sure you use the arrow to clear it.
Right. So let's see. So I'll say airport. I'll do find. I've got 29 documents there, right? Let's come in there.
So now, if you do the drop down again, only airport is there, so you have to remember to use the
Right.
arrow to clear it.
Right. So this is remembering my search. Again, if I've got a lot of results here, maybe I just remembered another keyword. I can't enter another value, hit search again, and continue to narrow that down. Go ahead.
I have a question. The up top icons, because I did kind of just open mine this morning to look at it, and I only had a couple icons lit up that I could access. So, are we giving access to those, like, or limited access, or which like how do we know what
If there's
access
one that
we're
you
gonna have?
need that you don't have, let me know. Some of them, like the batch scanning, for example, right now isn't lit up. That requires a specific license.
You should see all of these right here. Dashboards, that'll be access driven. Mailbox, you'll probably have that. Planner view, that's access and license driven. Workflow, you'll probably see that, although this may be grayed out if you don't have any workflow set up, like dashboards is. And yeah, imaging will only be seen by those who are doing batch scanning and indexing. So left of this, where my cursor is now, you should see all of that.
Okay, well I did.
Yeah.
So
We
that's
probably
just my
should have-
biggest question.
we probably should have prefaced this whole session by saying your experience may vary depending on your permissions. Right now, Jeremy's logged in with a manager account, so he has
Yeah,
everything.
it has everything. Okay.
If there is something you don't have that you need, send me an email and I'll
Okay.
set up.
So something else that
Well,
we're
and then each individual department, you said, is gonna have an administrator that handles it, right? So they would be the ones that give us.
Amanda's going to be your on-base administrator.
Okay.
Becky's
So-
your super user,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, and so she would divvy it how we all get
Becky
access.
and I will work together. And
Okay.
we've worked on your security already, but if there's something that we didn't give you that we need, we'll work
Okay.
to get that set up.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what I need yet,
Yes.
but yeah.
Right.
All right, that was just a question.
So yeah, security varies here. A lot of what I am going to show you is based on privileges. I'd imagine for the most part, everyone here would have most of what I'm going to show them. But yeah, if you don't, it would be an access thing. If you'd like it, by all means, talk to Amanda. So we've done a test conversion. We've got up to 2,000 documents from each cabinet pulled over here. We do want you guys to play with this and test it and compare it to Sire. Make sure that everything's there and that it matches. If it doesn't, again, let us know. But in line with that as well, we've had to reconfigure security, right? It's a new system. There's new options available. So if the security's not right, again, just feel free to let us know. If there, like Amanda said, if there's something you need, let her know. She'll add it. If there is something that you see, like such as access to HR documents that you probably shouldn't have, let her know. They'll change security. Don't go dabbling in it. Don't go, oh, I'm just going to take a quick look, right? OnBase records everything. If I view a document, my name's tied to it. If I edit a keyword, my name is tied to it. Okay, it records everything. All right? Right. So, I'm going to go and clear out that keyword there. So, let's go into contract here. I was told not to show you guys anything that said confidential in the string here. This one doesn't show confidential, so I think we can go ahead and open that up. I can double click on that to open the document viewer window. Additionally, I do want to show you guys this little arrow icon in the bottom right corner. A lot of people tend to miss this. This will open a document viewer just within my window here. So I can go ahead and click on that, select a document, or have the document selected when I click it. Are these, what type of file types are these documents? Do we know?
Most of them, I believe, are TIFF. Do you mean the format or the?
Yeah, the file format.
It should be TIFF, right? Oh, PDF.
Why am I getting that? I've got a PDF viewer on my
I have one
system.
above that. I noticed that there was a.
Let's go to bonds. Okay, we may have a little hiccup there. I'm not sure what's going on there. We haven't seen that one before.
Go to ordinances.
Ordinances, okay.
Ordinances.
So ordinance number, I'll do a 1 asterisk, just search anything. We go to find, I found one. Wow, that one's new.
What are the HR?
We may have made some, we've been making changes in the system. It looks like we may have broke something.
Well, it is board records.
This one? No, that one. I'm like, which one?
New application.
Okay. So let's try another name. First name starting with J. I'm Jeremy. Let's see if we can find a Jeremy in here. Okay. So we'll pull up Joseph Scott here real quick. All right. You want to see if you can troubleshoot that on the fly? All right.
I know it was working as of 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know why we're seeing that now, folks. I mean, we've been testing this just fine up until right now.
And it may be something to do with our access through the network, through Citrix. So.
All right. So there's the document viewer window there. We will come back to that when we get that resolved. Additionally, like I said, I can double click that, see if it'll trigger an error or not. Okay, that will. Okay. So we'll come back to that.
Do you want to switch machines and do it for mine?
Can you test it on there? Make sure we're not seeing the problem there as well first. So moving on a little bit, if I've got, so up here on the ribbon, I have this documents section. Additionally, if anyone noticed, I also have this new document tab up here on the ribbon. So once I'm working with a document, I can either right-click on it to bring up options for working with that document, or I can go to the ribbon here, either one. In OnBase, there's typically 2, if not 3 ways to do any given task. So as you can see, over here I've got keywords. Over here in the ribbon I have keywords. Cross-references, right? A lot of my options are in both places, so whatever your user preference is, have at it. Is it? Okay. Awesome. I could go through the remote system we have and not use Citrix. That would work. Sure. All right. Bear
Yeah,
with.
it's not that your system's broken. It's that your network is broken.
Oh, bold.
Right.
All right. 1 second. Nope. I actually have that viewer, that window up, so. All right. All right, I will swap this. I did. Okay, swap systems here real quick. So we got a document here. Here's my document viewer, right? So I can go ahead and see my document. Go and scroll through that, view the information there. On the right-hand side, I have my page thumbnail viewer, so I can jump from page to page. Depending on where I'm at in the system or what interface I'm using, something that we see is, hey, I can only scroll to the bottom of the page. I won't go to the next page. Unfortunately, in Unity, that's just a system limitations. I have to jump to the other page. In the web client, however, that does work seamlessly. So those of you who are using web client, you can scroll from page to page just fine, or you can still jump using the thumbnail viewer. Okay. So again, going back to where we were getting to here.
Why don't we jump back into the quarter conference?
Right. Quarter contracts, vendor name. Okay. All right. So with this particular file, looks like we don't have a PDF viewer here installed. Otherwise, I would have been able to view that within the document viewer. So without a PDF viewer, we should get one downloaded. It's prompting me to go ahead and download and save that to my local system so that I can open that in a viewer that I have for that specific document. I thought we had one installed there. Or is that not a PDF?
She was saying a lot of theirs are tips.
It's saying PDF.
Must not have a
PDFs.
There we go. Okay. All right, so there's my document. I'm also going to double click on that. Go ahead and close the viewer here. Just double click on that and open that up. Okay. So there's my other viewer. I can go ahead and maximize the screen there. Going back to my tab here. So again, keywords, cross-references, right? So I can view the keywords, and that'll open a keyword panel here. And I can go ahead and see all my keyword values that are associated with this document. Again, inside this was the indexes that you had tied to the specific folder. So you can see here I've got a bunch of red ones indicating that they're required. Black ones not being required. I can go ahead and see the values. If I have the access and privilege to modify keywords, I can go ahead and make a change to one. Maybe there's a typo. I can go ahead and fix that and click Save Keywords and adjust that on the fly. Or maybe I just want to view them. I can do that too. You'll notice here, though, I can't re-index this document per se, right? While I can modify the keywords, I can't change the document type or the document type group, right? That would take a full re-indexing. So those are static there. If I did want to re-index the document, then I would be able to make those changes. We briefly mentioned history. I'm going to go ahead and look at the history of this document. So here you can see that we opened it today. Here's all my timestamps from it. Here's the user that opened it. Here's the action that was done. They just viewed the document. And I can see a message here saying what was done with it. So in this case, I viewed the document, right? Opened it up twice. I've now viewed the keywords. It's tracking all that information. So if I was to go ahead and re-index this and make a keyword change, it would go ahead and record a history of what was the previous value, what is the new value. Again, we're very big on document auditing and document retention, preservation, so we're recording all that information. Say for example, this document was part of a workflow process. Say for example, your HR department has a new job posting out. They take an application, they collect a resume, they pass that information on to the hiring manager if they think the hiring manager if HR thinks that's a good candidate. The hiring manager comes back and says, yes, let's bring them in for an interview. HR goes back and says, okay, well, we've got them in at this time. Here's your interview. HR manager goes back and says, okay, I like this person or I don't like this person. Let's hire them or let them go. Let's move on to another candidate, right? There's an entire process there. And so if your department has anything like that, any process, whatever it may be, approving an invoice, HR, filling a position, we can go ahead and design a workflow to accommodate that process in the system so that all of that can be done electronically instead of bouncing email back and forth, right? Workflow queues will go ahead and show what queue or what step in that process the document's in. So additionally, I can view that information here as well. And what other transactions may have occurred with that document during that process, okay? I can also view the file properties. I don't see most of you using this. This will just mostly tell you where on the server the document's stored, what kind of file it is, some of that information. Revisions. If you have a document type set to enable revisions, I can check out a document, for example this one, edit it, check it back in, and now I've created a new revision or version of it in the system. And additionally, the system will retain both versions of that, and at any time I can open the old one, the new one, I can compare them side by side just like you can in Word, right? You open two documents in Word, there's a tool where you can go ahead and compare those side by side and see what the discrepancies are. And this will work just like that does. I'm not going to show that because I don't know if we've got that configured for any of your document types. Obviously, there are some document types where you may want that, and probably a lot where you don't, right? You don't want the document to change. It's been recorded. Leave it alone. Okay. I can send this document to another internal user using OnBase mailbox. It's just like your email client, only it's in OnBase. Whether you guys want to use that or not, entirely up to you, but that option is there for you. I can go ahead and mail it using my native email client, so I can download it out of the system, send it to another person, or I can just send them a link to the document in the system. I can add this document to my personal page, and since we're going to cover that some more, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to work with this document a lot, right? Say for example, I'm working with a contractor. This is a building permit. It's a year-long project. This contractor keeps coming back to me for more information on this. I know I'm going to be revisiting it a lot, or maybe I'm just sick of constantly having to search it, so I'm going to pin it to my personal page so that I can access it really quickly. If I have privileges, I can delete the document. Again, I can re-index that one. I think that's probably self-explanatory at this point. We kind of covered that. And again, if I have privileges, I can check that document out and edit it. Catch-22 being that I do have to have something installed on my system that allows me to edit that, right? So if it's a PDF, I need to have Adobe Pro. If it's a Word document, I need to have Microsoft Word installed. And it will go ahead and for most applications, it will open that application within the viewer here. So again, we've partnered with several different companies, Microsoft being one of them, so that we can go ahead and integrate their applications into our system here. So if this was a Microsoft Word document, I would actually see a Microsoft Word document right here at the top of my document. and it would be fully functional. I can go, if we run into one in the system later, I'll go ahead and show this a little bit more, but I could select text, highlight it, bold it, underline it, change the font color, size, type. I can go ahead and add more text, write another paragraph, save it to create another version of it. I can do anything I want that you guys would do in Word today, and I can do that all directly within OnBase. I don't have to download the document out of it, save it to my system, right? Open it in Microsoft Word, make my changes, save it, close Word, bring OnBase back up, upload it, re-index it. I can do all of that seamlessly within OnBase. Additionally, we also have the ability to add notes to a document. I don't believe we have this configured for you guys right now, but if you guys want to start adding notes to documents, kind of like you did in Sire, that is another option that's available to you. Let's see if I missed anything here. Delete, send to. I think that's about it. So this is an image document. And again, I've got a tab here that's magically popped up, whether I noticed it or not. I have the ability to work with that document or that file type, and I get my options here. So this isn't a Word document. I don't have the Microsoft Word ribbon, but it is an image document. So here I have options available to me that you would see much like in an image viewer anywhere else. So I can go to the previous document, next document, previous page, next page, last page, go to page, right? I can toggle my thumbnail viewer on and off. If this document is not oriented correctly, I can go ahead and rotate it left, right. I can flip it. I can zoom in and out. I can fit it to width, right. Fit to actual size, fit to window. All my viewing options are there. Additionally, maybe I don't want to use those buttons. I can't read this text right here. I can just click and drag, make a little box, and immediately it jumps to my box. So I can automatically zoom into just what I want on the fly. I don't have to click zoom, 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 and then move the scroll bars to get where I want on that document. I can just select that one little spot, done. And then I'm going to fit to width again to quickly zoom back out.
So if you had one file that you uploaded into this that was a PDF, now when we work with PDFs, it's kind of hard to move those pages around. But if we upload the one file in there, could you rearrange things in there and do that kind of stuff, or is it just like special to the scanner that automatically scans it?
So your scanner obviously has features built into it to kind of help with that stuff, but a bunch of that is available in OnBase. Those doing the batch scanning and indexing, I'm actually going to show them how to do that specifically. Most of your end users won't have that ability to kind of break the pages and, well, I can rearrange them, right? So I can click Edit Pages here. And I'm being brought into document separation. Again, this isn't something that all of you will have access to.
So is that something like we just scanned it in as one file, or does that have to be individual files that are scanned?
It can be one file, yes. So you can bring documents all in one file or in separate files per document. It's completely up to you. You guys will define that process for your individual roles. But that is completely possible, yes. I can go ahead and delete pages, edit pages, add pages, move them around, change them, whatever I want to do there. Anything else? Okay. So I'm going to get out of that because I don't want to mess with that right now. I think that pretty much covers that. If I want to work with multiple documents in the system, I can go ahead and open as many of these windows as I like. Go ahead and fiddle with that all you want. Load up your taskbar with them. I think that pretty much covers working with documents for the most part. Again, that was an image document, so I got those image viewing options. Word document, I'd get my Microsoft Word ribbon. Text documents, I would be able to edit the text and do other things there. Again, some of those options and features may be limited based on my privileges. Okay. All right, so I think that pretty much covers document retrieval. I'm going to go ahead and move on to a new subject of custom queries. I do believe we have some set up. Renee? Oh, we have one from the last training. Okay, so we're going to talk cemetery burial records. So this is going to be very familiar to what you guys see in Sire. Again, these are completely customizable. These can be configured for you. So if you do want to see something like this for your department, again, let your on-base administrator know. So I'm going to go and click on that. You can see here, if I wanted some introduction text to kind of explain to users how to do a search here, I can go ahead and add that. I can make whatever keywords are available that we saw in document retrieval available here, right? I'm only going to add the ones that make sense. I can add all of them or just one or two. I'm going to go ahead and search for, oh, right, yeah. Again, I've got my drop-down options. I've got my keywords. Let's go ahead and pick that first date range there. I'm going to come to my search button down here, do my search. And here we go. I've got my hit list. And just like you saw in Sire, I have my columns here. If I like a spreadsheet type view when going through search results to find documents, this is for me. So page number, first month death, last month. It looks like we've probably got just about every keyword here. Again, just like in document retrieval, I can go ahead and sort that by date by clicking the column header. I can go ahead and do a filter to narrow that down. Maybe I just want stuff within the 1800s. I can enter 18, right? To further narrow that down, maybe I just want December. Okay, I've got multiple filters acting for me now, so I've got multiple criteria, multiple places. Something else that I didn't quite show you guys in document retrieval was there is another way to change my view here. If I don't want to see it by rows per se, I can kind of group my results in this grouping area. So I'm going to take this month column. I'm going to drag that into my grouped by area. And now I can see everything grouped by the value in that column. So now, since this column has the values of months, I now have my data and my results sorted by month. And I can go ahead and expand that, open that, and find and work with my search results that way. So if you guys want to kind of group your search results and criteria, you can do that. And again, this configuration will be retained. I can leave that grouping area open. I can close it and do whatever I want there. That's available to me in document retrieval and custom queries. Anyone prefer this kind of layout over what we saw before? Maybe one of you?
If you don't like it, you can just drag that out and it will revert to how it was.
Yeah, I can throw that back out. Okay. As you can see here, this is a tabbed results window. I can do multiple searches at once, or I should say at once, but back to back, and leave those results open and available for me to work with. After doing multiple queries, maybe 20 minutes has gone by. Oh crap, I forgot to look for another document with that previous search result. I've got to go back now and redo all that search criteria. No, you don't. Okay, I can come up here, query history. I can go ahead and see any query that I've done within this user session. So as long as Unity hasn't been closed, I can go back to a previous search, and it'll do all the exact same criteria that I did before. I can jump right to it. Damn, it's done. I didn't even lose my window. I'm just in another window with my results. I can pull that up real quickly and then get back to what I was doing. Additionally, envelopes. If there's no other questions about queries, I'll move on to envelopes. We good? All right. So I'll come back to file cabinets too. Envelopes, just really quickly. Maybe I want to work with this document for a while, right? I don't want to have to constantly search to it. Maybe I don't even necessarily want to pin it to my personal page. I just want to get a collection of documents ready for a particular meeting, or if I'm a lawyer, say a court date, something like that, right? I'm getting all my documents ready for court. I can go ahead and send this document to an envelope. So instead of hitting that button in the ribbon, I'm going to go about it this way. I'm going to say envelope. Here I don't have any envelopes, so I'm going to have to go to the ribbon here to create one. I'm just going to say, I'm going to give it a random name. So I'm just going to call it after myself. I like my name, right? I'm going to select my envelope, and I'm going to go ahead and add the document to that envelope. And you see these pop-ups here as I'm doing certain tasks within the system, confirming that that action was done, right? I've got a nice little pop-up that says, hey, I did it. Don't worry, it's taken care of, and it goes away for me. I don't have to close it.
Conversely, if there's an issue with it, it will tell you that as well in those little pop-ups.
Yes. So now I can go to my envelope. I can have as many envelopes here as I want. I can go ahead and open that envelope, and there's my document. This is just kind of a bookmark for that document. It's still in the system. I can still get to it any other way. I can still find it any other way. Any changes I make to it will be seen by anyone else. This isn't, while OnBase does have what's typically coined as a briefcase feature, where you can put a document on your computer for working offline and offsite later, and then bring it back and sync with the system for any changes. This isn't that. Okay, OnBase does have that feature, but I just want to make it clear that this isn't that feature. This is online only. I can go ahead and put a collection of documents together. I can go ahead and say I want to share that document. I can go ahead and pick one or more users or all users, however you want. So I've got, again, I'm preparing for a court case. I've just got another attorney to join me in my case. I want to share those documents, make them available to them. I can go ahead and just share that envelope with them. I can give them whatever permissions I want to control just the envelope. Normally, I'm just going to say, go ahead and add this user. Default is to view the envelope. Maybe I want them to have the ability to move documents in and out of my envelope. I can go ahead and give them full control, however I want, and they can go ahead and work with that. Okay, and I can, of course, delete envelopes too. Okay, so moving on, document handle. Some organizations like to assign a specific ID to a document. I don't believe that you guys are going to be using that, so don't worry about that. My checkouts, these are just the documents that you've checked out for editing within the system. You do have to check them out to take ownership so that the system knows not to let someone else edit that at the same time as you. Jumping back to file cabinets here real quick. So custom queries retrieval and file cabinets are your three options for finding documents within the system. Document retrieval will work from the get-go. You have that naturally with OnBase. Custom queries and file cabinets have to be configured for you. So we saw custom queries, we just had the cemetery documents, right? With file cabinets, Renee just this last week has set up an HR example for us. Again, if this is something that you guys want to see, let her know. This can be configured for you. I can come ahead, and if I hate electronic systems, some people do, I just want my traditional file cabinet approach. I want to go to the cabinet, I want to find the drawer, the folder, get my document, be done. This is that option for those kind of people, right? It's the same idea, just a digital version of it. So here's my HR employee file cabinet. I have these different department folders, so I could come here and go to energy, right? Additionally, this is an HR cabinet, so now I've got end users, and I didn't want you to open that yet. I can continue to come in here, and this can be nested as deep as you guys want, have as many levels and layers, be as complicated or simple as you guys want. But now I can come in here, I can select Kyle Adams here, I can see one document for him, right? So I can see employee recognition, I can see new hire documents. Additionally, I could go ahead and here, I've got my document viewer here. One isn't coming up because this is actually another folder. I can personalize my icons, right? But this is actually just another folder, so don't let that icon trick you, with multiple documents in it. So say this was accounts payable, I was creating folders for each PO number, I'd have an invoice, a check, a purchase order, all within this one folder, right? And then I can go ahead and click on one of those to see what they are. I'm not going to do that because these are sensitive documents. But additionally, I can not only have it show me what documents are there, but the nice thing about the folders option is for a particular process like HR or accounts payable, I can also have the system configured to tell me if something's missing. So here you can see here, I've got all these missing documents here for this particular employee in this folder. So I didn't go into cross-references very much, but with cross-references, if I'm viewing a document and I go into cross-references, I can set up, say, a particular keyword, say a contract number, and I can have that be set as a cross-reference so that I can do a right-click in the system and quickly find any other contracts with that same number, right? And I can just find them really quick instead of having to go to the document type and redo the search for that same contract number there. That's a cross-reference. So folders, a little bit like that, offer the same functionality but expand on it. So now I can go ahead and tie more documents into that and know exactly what I have, whereas a cross-reference will just show me what I have, or not so much what I don't have, what I may be missing. And so this is really good for those internal processes where you're like, we need to make sure we have all these specific documents. Any questions there? Still good? Okay. All right, so we're just going to go over these last options really fast. Forms, we don't have any forms in your system, but I do want to talk about them. So this is very handy for those of you who have typical paperwork that's being filled out, such as, say, an HR application for a job or a purchase order or anywhere where you guys use forms. I can create the form electronically here in the system so that you guys could go paperless, make that available to any user in the system, or even post it to, say, your city website to make available to the public. They fill out that form, that document comes into the system, I've automatically got that information in OnBase, right? Kind of nice, right? I don't have to deal with paperwork, I don't have to distribute the paper application form. I don't have to go ahead and take that form and scan it into the system or copy the values over and type them in. I've just got them right there on the fly, real quick and nice. This is where that functionality would be at. Your administrators would go ahead and create that form as you would like, and then I could see it right here in this left column, click on it, it'd load right here, I'd be able to go ahead and fill that out. Our forms include anything from a text box and drop-down boxes to radio buttons, check boxes. I can do images on them. I can even do a drawing tool where I can put an image and draw on it, right? Something Renee asked about just recently was West Valley has an accident and incident forms workflow where they've gone ahead and done that. So they've got like their city recreation building and they've taken a picture of the pool layout, and they have their people, anytime there's an accident, say, this is where the accident occurred. And additionally, they'll have a picture or a diagram of a body, and they can go ahead and mark that image up saying this is where they have an injury, and this is what the injury is. They can draw it up, mark it up all they want, they can put text on it, they can clear it out, they can do multiple colors, whatever they want. I can put signatures in there, so I can collect a signature, I can do file attachments, I can put in barcodes. There's a lot of really cool options within Unity Forms. There really is. So I'm sorry that we don't have an example here for you. Maybe I'll create one and we'll show one for the web training later this afternoon. Yeah, if any of you are working with forms like that, we can make those electronic and simplify your life.
They're really cool too. There's a lot you can do with them, like Jeremy was saying.
Yeah. Uploading. So there are tons of ways to bring documents into OnBase. This is the most basic one. This is kind of for those one-off documents that just got missed, or maybe you only upload one document a week or a month. This is specifically for one document only, okay? Other processes we'll go into later in another training that involve more documents. So I can click upload here. I can go ahead and browse out to a document. We're just going to go to pictures. There are no pictures here. Okay, awesome. Wow, that's a first. When are there never pictures?
It's a clean system.
Wow, it really is. Okay, never mind. So I'll only talk about that one too. I can go ahead and browse out, find my document. It will automatically recognize the file type, so I don't have to indicate that, but I can indicate that prior to uploading if I want. But I would go ahead and provide the index values, right? So I want this to be an HR document. It's for audits. All my keywords for that document type will come up. Again, red's required, black is not. I can go ahead and provide the keyword values that are appropriate for this document, hit upload while viewing my document right here in the preview window, and add it to OnBase. Okay. Again, this is just for one document, but and this is a privileged thing, so any of you who want to be able to do that from time to time, talk to your administrator. Something I want to hit on real quick, kind of missed this earlier too, is this doc ID keyword that you guys keep seeing. This is just there for the purposes of this conversion. It is temporary, it will go away, so if you hate it, don't worry about it, we hate it too. Yeah. Additionally, so I don't just have, I can do more than browse, right? I can also scan a document too on the fly, if that's configured for me. Going back to here, templates, we can create a document from a document template, right, and kind of work with those a little bit. I'm not going to go into that too much, but that's an option available. I can go to my OnBase mailbox to view my internal email. I'm not going to go into these. These are pretty self-explanatory. You guys are all familiar with how email works, I'm sure.
There are some advantages to using the OnBase mailbox as opposed to, say, Outlook. Big one is security. It's staying within the system. Once you email something out of the system, you don't really have control over what's happening with it. But when it's within the system, it's kind of contained, so that security does stay in place. So there is the advantage of that over, say, Outlook or Gmail.
So when you email it in the OnBase, it's, you can go to a drop-down list of the users.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was what was shown here earlier.
Yeah, it just shows their username, and in fact, you can do groups too, which I really like.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I'm not sure how you guys have it
Okay.
configured here, but yeah, typically it would pull that up. So
Mhm. You can see there my documents attached there for them, or linked. And yeah, type your email away. Additionally, I kind of forgot to show you this one, but in addition to send to, I can go ahead and send it to my envelope, right? We kind of covered that one. I can print this outside the system, right? Hopefully we're not doing this. We're kind of electronic at this point. We're paperless. We don't want to print it. Once a document's outside the system, we lose all security, right? Just like anything else. Same thing goes for, and we don't have the privileges, so we're not seeing it right now, but I can save this as and download it out of the system. But I'm sure you guys can understand why that option is not being presented to us right now. Go ahead.
We started using Sire before I work at the Justice Court. We started using Sire before we were able to upload our court documents into the state court system, which is Chorus. So now we have to download the things from Sire to put in the Chorus system. So is there a way to group download so we can get it into the system, or is there a way to transfer it to the Chorus system?
So I'll answer that in two ways. I can select multiple, right? And I can go ahead and, for the most part, do those same functions, right? And the system would probably give me a zip file instead of several separate documents. I don't know that an incoming system, I don't know if the incoming system would take a zip, because all of a sudden it's like, I don't know what these are or what to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So that could be potentially problematic. We do have what we call application enabler, and that we have that allows us to get OnBase to communicate with several other different applications, or it can be configured to work with them, in which case I can go ahead and tie the two systems together to kind of perform that same functionality for me and automate a lot of that. I don't know if that's one of the systems we work with. I couldn't even tell you what ones we do. The list is huge, and really we don't list everything just because we've made it to be flexible to work with almost anything. So it's very flexible on the configuration. Your admins would have to play with that, but that option could be there to explore.
And it would depend on how many too, because that licensing for the app enabler is pricey. So you want to weigh that
a lot
out.
of documents.
So it may be something that's worth it too.
It's Workspace that we upload it to. It's like a web-based program that communicates with the Chorus system, which is run on a like a remote desktop. But yeah, okay.
I know you guys have App Enabler because you're working with a few other applications in that sense.
Okay.
So I'd invite you to talk to your admins about that a little bit, and they could probably explore the options with you there. Yeah. Okay, let's close that.
So maybe you need to check with AOC and see if
Close that.
And for those of you that don't know, just while he's looking at this, App Enabler and, are we using API? I don't remember. Just App City View. So App Enabler and API is how we're communicating these documents with our new City View system and Kayenta, and eventually Springboard as well for training. So within Kayenta, City View, or Springboard, you'll be able to query and it will pull the document from OnBase, and ultimately all the documents reside in OnBase. So there will be some users who don't even realize what OnBase is, but really it's where everything is being stored.
Yeah, that is another kind of cool thing with it, is there's a lot of people that could be using it today, have been for years, and don't have a clue. So one of the last things I'm going to show you here is workflow. And this kind of like forms, I believe, is something we don't really have set up. You guys are in the process of configuring one right now. But workflow is, again, for those processes that I cited with the example of HR, where we're going to take an application, right, a job application for a new candidate. What are we going to do with that? Who does that go to? What is the process for hiring somebody? Well, you guys would define that. It would get configured in the system. And then I would go ahead and be able to come to workflow to go ahead and move documents through that workflow. So I would select essentially a queue or a stopping point for the document, right? So it comes to HR in this example, and I would go ahead and look at that applicant and decide, is this someone I want to pass on to the hiring manager, or are we going to pass on this application, right? I'd have my list of applications right here in my inbox. If there were any attachments or other related documents, I could go ahead and come to this related tab, see those other documents after selecting one in my inbox, of course. And then I'd have my viewer down here where I can see that document. And again, at any time, I can double click, open up that document if I don't want to see it in a smaller preview window. And then up here, I'd still have all my document options for working with that particular file type. And what we're not seeing right now is an ad hoc task tab for the workflow. Or actually, no, it's right here, sorry. So right here would be my options for working with that document, right? I could have 2 buttons here, 1 button, or a bunch of buttons for what I want to do with this document, right? And then in this example, I'm either going to reject the candidate, so I'd have a reject candidate button here, or I'd say approve candidate, or forward to HR, or forward to hiring manager, or whatever terminology I want to use. I'd put that right here on another button, and I could just click one of those 2 buttons. The system would process that away, move it to whatever next process that it needed to go to, right? It either just archive it in the system, it could delete it. Again, it could go right to the hiring manager, at which point the hiring manager could get an email notification saying, hey, you've got a new candidate to review, or they can just come in here just like you did, look at the queue and see what's there. Okay. Additionally, right, maybe I don't want to come to workflow. I mean, it didn't take a lot of clicks here, right? I just clicked on workflow on the ribbon, but maybe I didn't want to click on the queue, or maybe this is something I want to see every day. I too am going to send this to my personal page. Okay. I'm going to go to query history. I didn't want to do that. That's not letting me right click. Okay, maybe I do want to do that. Come on. You know, let's do this. Custom queries. Same thing for the custom query. I'm going to add to my personal page. So going back to the personal page, right? So I've got the document that I've pinned there on my personal page, right? This is the one I'm going to access all the time. Right there, I don't have to do a search for it. I just jump straight to it. Click it, it opens up. There's my document. Initial, this is that workflow that I just showed, right? I can see that there's nothing in my queue. I can see there's 0 documents, right? But if there was something in my queue, it would go ahead and show me how many documents are in my workflow queue. And it would go ahead and give me links to all of them here so that I can quickly open them on the fly from here and go ahead and indicate that ad hoc function that I want to perform with that workflow. Cemetery burial records, right? Here's my quick link to my custom queries. I can resize these. I can go ahead and change the color of them. I can rename them. I can rearrange them and do whatever I want to customize this page and make it mine. This is specifically tied to each individual user. Additionally, I can come to home and I can decide to make this layout my home page, right? We talked about maybe I don't want to see any web pages on my home page, so I can make this my home page. So I just click home, I'm there. When I automatically launch Unity, I'm right there. So if I do have a workflow process, or if I don't want to click workflow, queue, whatever, right? If I want to do something in 1 click instead of 3, I can put it on this page. I can come in here, click on it, I'm there. Okay.
What's really cool about this too, if I recall from my training, is that we can distribute this to groups of users, correct?
Yes.
So Rebecca built one that she really wanted all of the people in her office to have. She could send that out to everyone.
Yep. Any other questions on anything I've shown? Okay. Lastly, we'll wrap this up with the user options. So I've got this on-base jewel here. I can go and click this. I can come to user options. I forgot this in my last training. So there are a number of options and areas in which I can customize this to, again, my personal preference. Generally, maybe I don't want to confirm that I'm closing Unity or not, right? When I click the X to close it, just close it. Don't ask me if I'm sure. When I upload a document, I already know what the document is. Wait, wrong one. There it is. Open document after upload. Maybe I've already seen the document, right? I've already indexed it. I've previewed it. After I upload it, I don't need you to pop it up at me again to show me it. I've already seen the document. I'm good. I'm happy. I can stop that kind of behavior here in these user options. So I'm not going to go over these, but there are a lot of different options here that you guys have available, again, to kind of make that yours. By all means, feel free to view that, right? If there's a particular way or image scale that you like to have documents automatically come up in the system, you can indicate those kind of options, right? Automatically hide thumbnails. I don't want to see them, right? Or if I flip a document, automatically save it. Don't make me click save. Okay?
Will administrative, if they are administrator does some changes, is this something will also go back to the stores, you know, like the
Those user options usually do not, no.
Okay. So just
My window layout here can, especially with the custom queries, because those have to be configured. If I make a configuration change and say add another keyword, well, we're going to change that up on you, right? So you could lose that keyword grouping setting that you have, just because it would want to show you any changes. But those user options would stay in place.
And if I'm not mistaken, those user options will carry over from machine to machine. So if you're on your computer and you have it just how you like it, but then you got to go work on someone else's computer for a few hours, if you log into yourself, it should populate those for you.
Anything I missed? I think I got it. All right, so we've ended 10 minutes early. Are there any other general questions that you guys have for us on this?
Okay,
All right. Well, thanks, everyone.
before you leave, hold on, before you leave, I just wanted to clarify with your workflows. If any, I don't believe that any of you currently use workflows in Sire, that those are being transitioned into Hyland. So I know Fire had one, HR uses them quite frequently. Those are all moving to Kayenta, so we won't be doing those in here. And then as far as your custom queries, if you have those, want those built, I can help you with that. It doesn't have to be done right now. So it can be, a month down the road, and that's great with me because I'm extremely busy right now trying to learn this powerful system. And then as far as foldering, Renee is an expert at that, so if you have something that you think would be better to be foldered, we can help you with that too. So just let us know, stay in touch, anything we can do, I'm more than willing to